cycling is really interesting for me because I'm going to be really transparent. The first time I heard it, I was like, there's no way. Hormones are so complicated. There's no way you're going to tell me to eat some almonds or eat, whatever seeds, pumpkin seeds, and my hormonal situation's going to be better. So my first question is, what is seed cycling and why does it work for hormones?
I know. We've all kind of gone through that same thing of hearing about seed cycling and feeling like, is this witchcraft or what is this? There's no way that seeds could do anything. But we like to say that seed cycling is a little bit like magic and a little bit like science combined. Really what it is that there's not a lot of research. Actually, there's not any research specifically on seed cycling, but there's so much research on the nutrients in the seeds. What you do with seed cycling is essentially you're rotating 4 specific seeds throughout a menstrual cycle. So let's just say the average menstrual cycle is 28 days. You're rotating these seeds throughout the menstrual cycle to support the 2 main sex hormones that we're trying to balance, estrogen and progesterone. And typically imbalances in these hormones are what cause things like PMS or irregular cycles. More often than not, it's too much estrogen in relationship to progesterone that causes these sort of gnarly periods. So the nutrients in these seeds are supporting essentially the balance between estrogen and progesterone, the healthy elimination of estrogen, and the production of progesterone as well. So the 4 seeds are flax, pumpkin, sesame, and sunflower. And we added hemp to our blends because they taste really good and they're a complete protein too. Yeah, we love hemp too. It makes it taste way better because as you can imagine, grounding seeds every day, like there can be, a little bit of a challenge there, but we really wanted to make like a great tasting product that people would love to take every single day. And Mindy, you know so much about this, but when you think about those seeds and you think about the nutrients in them, you can understand why this could potentially work to support hormones because you have fatty acids, you have fiber, you have antioxidants, you have all these things that our hormones need to not only be effectively eliminated in the body, but also be produced and balanced as well. So that's just seed cycling in a nutshell, but we can dive into all the nutrients in the seeds too.
Yeah, the other thing that's interesting I find about seeds in all my research is it's an incredible prebiotic. So where I go with the statement you just made was, okay, if it's a great prebiotic, then do we have any research on just the prebiotic component of seeds supporting the estrobolome, that set of bacteria that break estrogen down? Because I could take what you just said and go, okay, and I want to dive into some of these nutrients. So if it's bringing a mineral or a vitamin in the seeds, and then it's also feeding this part of our microbiome that breaks estrogen down, that makes it wickedly powerful. So do we know if it supports good bacterial growth?
Yeah, well, the star of seed cycling is probably flax seeds because there's so much research on flax seeds. And so for the first half of the cycle, from menstruation through the follicular phase, you're taking flax and pumpkin. And the reason flax seeds are so powerful, they contain fatty acids, they contain fiber, but they also contain lignans. And we know that our gut bacteria break down lignans into these things that are kind of like phytoestrogens, basically. They have weak estrogenic properties. So I hate to say that because a lot of women who have estrogen-dominant conditions get scared of things like flax. It's kind of controversial. And some experts like to avoid like flax and soy and these phytoestrogens if somebody is dealing with something like that. It depends. It depends on the expert.
No, I'm just like, that discussion we have to unpack. But go ahead.
Yeah, I know. But actually there's really cool research that, again, the estrogenic properties are weaker. And actually what we're seeing instead is a more modulating effect. So it can help to effectively eliminate and antagonize the effects of estrogen. So if somebody is dealing with estrogen dominance, it can actually be pretty helpful. That was what happened to me. I've had a case of estrogen dominance since I started to get my periods, and especially postpartum, I had really, really horrible periods. They were heavier than normal. I was getting more cramps than normal. And seed cycling was pretty much the only thing that worked for me. Within 1 month of seed cycling, my cramps went away. My periods were so much lighter. They went from being like 8 days to being 6 days. So speaking from personal experience, as somebody who has estrogen dominance, I love flax seeds, but I know that, some people feel differently.
Can you talk a little bit about why it works. Like, what is the seed actually doing? You're getting a nutrient, but I could take a supplement. I could cycle those nutrients. What is it about the seed?
Yeah, so the cool thing about seed cycling is that it honors that we are cyclical beings, basically, that women have this 28-day cycle. And so we use flaxseed and pumpkin seeds in the first half of the cycle, and then sesame and sunflower in the second half. And those are, everybody says that seed cycling is ancient. We actually cannot figure out who invented it. We've had a few people say that they were the one, or that that this other guy, this naturopathic doctor, this guy. So shout out to you, whoever you are. You haven't made yourself really known, but it's become very popular, I think, recently because, Mindy, as you were saying, people really want to use food as medicine.
Yeah.
They
Yes.
want a very natural and holistic approach. And especially people who, like Yasmin said, who are on birth control for years, for people who are just kind of putting Band-Aids on the symptoms. They want something that they can take and feel really good about. And that's the cool thing about seed cycling is it's seeds. It's literally food, right? So there's, other than somebody having an allergy or an intolerance to the seeds, there's virtually no harm that can be done with having seeds
for
every
sure.
day,
Yeah.
right? So, it's not like taking a medication. But we talked about flax, which has the fatty acids, it has the lignans, it has magnesium. Let's talk about pumpkin seeds, which are also used in the first half. So those have things like iron, rich source of magnesium, tryptophan, which we know is a precursor to serotonin, and then melatonin. So we hear so many women who say they are sleeping better than ever when they implement seed cycling. And it's kind of a cool circle because we know that we need sleep for progesterone. And so it's kind of like working on the melatonin aspect, but it's also working to support progesterone levels. And then we have sesame and we have sunflower seeds, which contain also, again, these fatty acids, and then things like manganese and vitamin E, these antioxidants and flavonols that essentially help with blood sugar imbalances and also with inflammation. And so a lot of what we've noticed and a lot of what we've talked to with experts is that women who really struggle with their periods, probably one of the number one things they can do is focus on their blood sugar. So anything that they can implement in their diet that supports healthy blood sugar is going to be a win, which is why I think the seeds work in that sense, also with reducing inflammation, also with bringing in all these nutrients that our hormones need to be produced and to be modulated as well. So it's kind of like hitting your body from all different sides, essentially using food as medicine.
Yeah. So, okay. So then does it matter what type, like then when I sit at, I go to the farmer's market and there's one vendor there that has nuts and seeds. I know, okay, it needs to be raw. If I can get a sprouted almond, that would be better, So is there something we need to know about the quality of the seed, or can I just rush off and start putting pumpkin seeds on my salads at a certain time of my cycle?
Yeah, well, if somebody can get their hands on these in any which way, I mean, that's going to be better than nothing. But quality definitely matters, which is why we wanted to create a product for people, because so many of the seeds that are sitting at the grocery store have been on that shelf for God knows how long. We know that seeds, when they're exposed to light and they're exposed to heat, they become rancid. So we want to make sure that people are choosing seeds and nuts. So we're making sure that people are choosing highest quality. So for us, we go with organic. We try to grind them as frequently as possible so they're freshly ground, because you should take ground seeds when you're seed cycling, not whole seeds. That's when all the oils are released. That's when you get the beneficial compounds. So we have freshly ground seeds in our product, organic. We get them from a high quality farm that we love and work with. So the quality does matter. And then we also recommend refrigerating your seeds when possible, because again, when they're exposed to light and heat, they can become rancid, and nobody wants rancid oils in their body.
Yeah, no.
Just to add what Kaya was doing, because I was doing seed cycling so incorrectly for a while, but even when you go to, I thought, let me go to the grocery store and buy grounded seeds. I can just create it. But what I learned through the process of us creating our own product, when you buy cold milled seeds, which is what you have in the grocery stores, that strips out all the oils, which Kaya mentioned. That's the magic and the nutrient value in the seed. So I just want to share that because I was doing it wrong. And also we do third-party testing for all the metals, since we know there's been some conversation around especially flaxseed. So we do all the checks just to kind of make sure of that as well.
Okay, check this out. I have a free fasting guide for you all. It's free.
And it's going to teach you all the basics of fasting. It's going to teach you how to kill hunger when you fast, which is really cool. And it's going to show you how to break your fast, among many other things. All you got to do is click on this link right here and enjoy. So just so I have a visual, yours comes in a powder. Is it like a powder?
Yeah, I guess you could describe it as a powder. It's not as fine as a powder, but imagine like coffee grinds, essentially, but they're seeds.
Okay. And I've watched on your Instagram, you guys put them in everything, like which seems really brilliant. So are there certain foods, do you just take a scoop of it and eat it? Or are there certain foods that they pair better with? Have you experimented with pairing with other foods like squashes we know will help with progesterone production? Like, have you looked at that combination?
Yeah, that's a good question. We haven't gotten too much into the food combining other than saying that seed cycling is not a miracle cure. So you can't just throw seeds at your life and be doing every other unhealthy habit and expect for changes to happen. So the nice thing is that all of the healthy habits that we recommend, including seed cycling, are going to support all of our hormones, our testosterone, our progesterone, our estrogen. We recommend putting them in anything as long as you're not cooking or baking them. We don't want to lose the value there. So I love to blend it in my smoothies. Yasmin sometimes will put it in yogurt, or she'll just take it by the spoonful. It really depends. People put it on their avocado toast. They definitely are versatile, which is really nice.
Yeah, because it's got to be easy. This has been my thing that I've discovered with Fast Like a Girl was women got such incredible results, like dropped weight, got off medication, the fertility. Oh my God, the number of women that got pregnant following the fasting cycle that was in there. And a part of why I've thought actually a lot of like how it worked so well for so many women. And I think what fasting does is it gives you a break from the toxic food. And if you can put that in the appropriate part of your menstrual cycle, then, okay, now you're recovering from this Western diet. So if I start seed cycling, but I'm eating inflammatory foods, is what I'm interpreting you're saying is that it may not be that miracle cure that both of you experienced with this and many of the women that have used your product.
Totally. But I'm sure similarly to you, Mindy, the people that are looking out for you are not necessarily partaking in very unhealthy habits. They're already primed for doing what works for them. And I love that you're incorporating that because that's such a mission for us because we're actually not taught to think about our menstrual cycle unless we are have really bad periods or trying to avoid pregnancy or trying to get pregnant. And those first two, it's like, forget about it. You're trying to avoid pregnancy or you have bad periods. Somebody just throws hormonal birth control at you and you're like, okay, check that off. I don't even have to have a period anymore. I don't have to think about this. And then what we often see is women in their 20s and 30s who get off of hormonal birth control after all these years. And they're like, I don't understand my body. I don't understand my hormones. I don't even know what's going on with me. Maybe I'm experiencing infertility. I need to get back on track. Hopefully they get pregnant. If not, then they have to go on this whole journey. And Yasmin and I just want to reach the younger group of women specifically because if we could help them avoid all of the downstream consequences of not taking care of your hormones and things like PCOS or infertility or fibroids or cysts or all of the, acne that we had to deal with, then that would be so nice. And they don't have to have like a crazy in-depth understanding of it all, but just basic enough to know that their everyday choices can make such a huge impact on their hormones and avoid all of these like painful things that I had to deal with.
Okay, where are my gals that are struggling with hormonal imbalance? Bloated, feeling like you're not making progress with weight loss? You need to add these foods in so that you can support better hormonal health. There is a lifestyle that estrogen wants you to live, and there's a lifestyle that progesterone wants you to live.